Hello everybody. Okay, so in this short video I'm going to address a claim made by a flat earther who left some comments on my channel, and I thought if I address this particular one, then it will probably refer to others who have pretty much the same claim. Alright, so this guy's name is Mike J, and Mike J claims that the Earth is flat because we cannot see curvature. Alright, so let's deal with some very simple things that makes that statement nonsense. Okay, so first of all, what evidence is there that there is curvature? So let's have a look at it. First of all, horizon. I would have thought that would be self-evident. If there's a horizon, then this speaks to curvature already. That's before you do anything else. Because if there was no horizon, then things would just keep going further and further away. So they wouldn't just disappear behind a line, if you like, that we call the horizon. So that's first off. Alright, next one. Objects go over the horizon. They go bottom first without getting significantly smaller. Okay? So now Mike came back with his retort, which was he called it perspective. So Mike, like all the other flat earthers who claim this, claim that things get smaller and smaller as they get away from you in the distance, which is perspective, which is true. They do get smaller and smaller as they go into the distance. But they get smaller and smaller in all of their directions. Okay, not just their bottom. So, clearly this isn't what's happening. Perspective, I mean. Okay, so perspective only means objects get smaller and smaller until they are at a vanishing point. So let's have a look at these little diagrams that I've done over here. So here is a sphere, and as the sphere moves away from you on this track, you can see that the track gets smaller and smaller as it goes into the distance, and the sphere gets smaller and smaller as it goes into the distance. And it will keep going into the distance, getting smaller and smaller until it reaches a vanishing point at which you will not be able to tell what it is or even see it. It'll be far too small. But the point is that it's proportionally getting smaller as it's getting away from you. And this is not what's happening when things go over the horizon. When things are over the horizon, it's like this ship. Okay, so this ship, there it is before the horizon, and then as it goes over the horizon, you get to see less of it, less and less, until you get to see none of it. Okay, this isn't something that's going away, and its angular size isn't significantly changing. It just simply looks as though it's sinking into the ocean. It's not going away, it's not getting smaller and smaller, it's not losing angular size, it's not going to the point where you can't actually see it anymore. You can see it quite clearly, but you can just see a lot less of it as time progresses, as it heads over the horizon. Okay, so clearly nothing to do with perspective. Have a look at the windmill, the wind turbine. there's the horizon, and you can just see the horizon, the blades. And I've tried to explain this to Mike J, and then he's come back and said, well, you know, the blades get longer. So, absolute nonsense. So yes, there will be some change to the angular size of the blade depending on refraction of the atmosphere over that distance, but that doesn't explain that most of the windmill isn't there. So all of the windmill above the water is not there. All you get to see is the blades. So if you like, either perspective or refraction would not account for not seeing all of this. Okay? Now, the other thing I tried to explain to Mike was, I said, well, consider this experiment. Well, first of all, looking at sunset. You can see the sun go over the horizon, and the sun will go, will get less and less. So the bottom will disappear first, and it will not change its angular size as it does that. Now, like, you've seen countless explanations for this, countless videos that will explain this to you. So clearly you are deceiving yourself. Now, again, I also explained to Mike, and I want all the flat Earth people to think about this. Those people that think that it's perspective. Okay. So consider this experiment: a helicopter starting at the ground, waits for the sun to disappear completely. So it completely disappears. The sun's gone over the horizon. You cannot see the sun. So you're standing, at the beach, and then you can't see the sun, or at the helipad looking out to sea. Okay, you can't see the sun. So then you climb into the helicopter and you go up 1,000 feet, and there it is again. You get to see the sun again. Now, you hover there and wait for the sun to go down. Or you, in this case, go down to the helipad and just wait so many minutes. And then go up to 2,000 feet, and lo and behold, there's the sun again. The sun hasn't changed its angular size. It's just as it was before, but now you get to see it again. Same thing. Go down to the ground. Wait. Come back up to 3,000 feet, or hover, and what do you know? The sun is there again. So you waited for the sun to go down, you went down, came up to 3,000 feet, and then you see the sun again. And you can keep doing this. So for the fourth time again, you can see the sun. And if you go higher, you'll see more of the sun. So the sun will be higher up in the sky, all right? With so you'll see more of it. Okay, you've got to be asking yourself, if you're serious and you actually care that what you believe in is true, and you don't want to lie to yourself, then you've got to ask yourself the question, how can this be if the Earth is flat? How could that possibly be? That alone should be able to tell you that the Earth is curved. There is evidence of your curvature. Okay, just one last thing. This idea about flat and level. So now, since I started talking about flat and level, I've noticed that some people who have come to my channel, like that guy in that angry guy in the shed in Scotland, he now talks about level and flat and distinguishes between the two, and now claims that flat is level. Well, sorry, but you're wrong. Level means this. Here's the radius, there's the Earth's surface, and that's the radius to Earth's center of mass. Level just means the same distance where x1 equals x2 equals x3 equals xn. The same distance from the center of mass of the Earth. That's what level means. Flat is quite different. Flat would require you to have to think about that from the frame of reference from something that's up. Okay, so you'd have to consider create a datum that's above the Earth, if you like. So flat is something quite different. You could talk about like this iPad will have a flat surface. Okay, so we can agree on that, because that would not have been created with Earth in mind. But when we talk about the sea, this much water would still not be flat. It would look flat to you because it's such a short distance, and buildings are a very, very short distance. So even large buildings on a few acres, well, that's actually a relatively small distance. So for all intents and purposes, looks flat, but in fact it isn't. If what's used to determine its level is let's say a builder's level. Okay. All right. In that case, it's the difference across the surface is so small that this appears to be flat. This is the difference between level and flat. So you're not saying level Earth, you're saying flat Earth. Okay. All right. That'll do for now. So I will address any other comments that as they come up on my channel. If you like the videos, like they say, just subscribe, and I'll do more of them. Thanks.